Welcome to this demonstration of Celonis for Know Your Customer Process Optimization. Celonis is uniquely positioned to help commercial and investment banks, as well as sales and trading desks, streamline their KYC processes in order to reduce risk, improve customer experience through less friction throughout the KYC cycle, and position the bank as best in class among its peers in terms of deal execution to help cross-sell other products across the firm. An end-to-end KYC process flows across a variety of systems and personas. This demonstration assumes access to the transactional data from the key systems used during a KYC process, such as workflow tools like ServiceNow, as well as KYC-specific systems used for credit checks, customer identification, anti-money laundering checks, and so on. As a risk manager, I'm always focused on making sure we keep our risk in line with our existing controls and do so at the lowest possible cost. Simultaneously, we need to be sensitive to the friction in the KYC process caused by duplicate requests for information, the speed at which we onboard our clients, and the fact that in investment banking, we run joint books with several other bulge bracket firms. In commercial banking, we're part of a syndicate for larger corporate lines of credit and other syndicated projects and products. Both of these factors add complexity to the KYC process. Now, our clients are always benchmarking their experience with us versus other banks, so we need to execute as best in class. With all that said, several things jump out at me on this executive dashboard. First, the timeliness category. I see that we're way above the best-in-class target when it comes to cycle time. The target's 16 days versus the actual of 35 days. It's important to me to ensure that we're reducing the time of the process, as this can create a negative customer experience. Next, I look at cost. The cost is calculated based on the amount of time each KYC case takes to process and the hours spent by the various analysts managing KYC. It makes sense that my cost is above target, as my timeliness and quality control efforts are clearly struggling. Finally, I look at quality control. This category answers the question, what percentage of KYC requests are not passing final quality control checks? I notice there's a target of 15% QC failure rate, and we're currently violating that at 26.4%. From here, I'll ask my analysts to dive deeper into the why behind this dashboard so we can begin strategizing on how to improve these KPIs. We're now switching gears to the process analyst role. The analyst needs to actively investigate the underlying causes of our underperforming KPIs and does so using this comprehensive analysis focused on processing time, which is directly related to the timeliness KPI shown on the executive dashboard. This view gives the analyst everything needed to perform inefficiency discovery and ultimately answer the why question behind the KPIs in the executive dashboard. First, the Celonis Process Explorer helps the analyst quickly identify the most common activities in the KYC process and the connections among those activities. It also provides measurement tools to understand the number of KYC cases flowing between activities and the throughput time between them. Next, the KPI overview area offers a consolidated view of the most important KPIs when analyzing KYC processing time. Below this, the top inefficiencies area does what Celonis does best: identify inefficiencies at scale within the mountains of KYC data being mined from different systems. Not only does Celonis automatically bucket the most common categories of inefficiencies, it also provides a breakdown of the number of KYC requests in each category, as well as their negative impact on processing time as compared to KYC cases that do not experience that specific inefficiency. Finally, the bar chart visualizes the impact on processing time by a variety of dimensions, such as industry, product offering, etc. This added dimensionality comes from the metadata supplied to Celonis to allow for the discovery and pinpointing of otherwise hidden inefficiency hotspots. To analyze the KYC process data, First, the analyst uses the Celonis Process Explorer to objectively view the most common activities in the KYC process, rather than those activities we think occur in the process. We see critical steps from KYC request created, to risk evaluation entered, to quality check 4i request completed. As I begin exploring, I see that there are several ways a case may deviate from our expected path that ultimately causes friction between our front, middle, and back offices, and more importantly, with our clients. For instance, as I add the next most common activities, I see a deviation in the process that exposes enhanced CDD, client due diligence steps. This is useful information, and Celonis allows me to easily see more than just the number of cases that pass through this deviation. I quickly switch the view so I can see average throughput time, and right away I see that the enhanced CDD step adds over 4 days of cycle time to the KYC process. This directly impacts the important timeliness and quality control KPIs. As I expand to reveal additional process complexity, I see there's a negative impact of case reassignment between analysts. Every time we reassign a case to a different analyst, it's adding 6 days to the overall processing time. We'll circle back to this problem later and find a better way to do things by including some intelligent automation at this point in the process. But for now, let's also explore some of the more challenging parts of the process. Some of these gaps might be easy to identify and handle, such as KYC case reassignment. Others are more complex and require more exploration as to the root cause, such as failing quality control checks. Now, I notice that after the risk evaluation is entered, KYC cases enter an enhanced diligence request. However, this isn't necessarily a bad process flow. So this will not be an area of improvement here, as we would expect that to happen, as well as the subsequent activities that require an information request. However, as I explore further, I see that after the quality check, some cases are failing due to missing documentation. When documentation is missing, that means the quality control team sends the case back to the KYC analyst to request additional documentation from the customer before it can be routed for final approval. This is adding about 24 days to the processing time. Knowing that we're in a hyper-competitive environment and our customers could go to any other bank, we want to make sure that we're tackling these problems upstream to avoid negative customer experiences downstream. We confirmed that failed quality checks add a significant amount of time to the overall case processing time. There are likely common traits, though, that lead to a higher likelihood of failing a quality control check, which aren't always immediately apparent just by looking at the process data and map itself. Fortunately, Celonis provides additional tools to further examine where we're falling short, and more importantly, how we can mitigate this inefficiency. Let's focus on the quality control inefficiency. Here we have a drill-down analysis to hone in on QC to better understand if quality control failures are happening among a certain demographic. For instance, a set of customers, a type of review, or even a certain type of KYC analyst. On the left side, you see a graph plotting the analyst tenure against dollar impact and failure rate. Right away, we can see that KYC requests managed by lower tenure analysts have a higher failure rate on average. If I bring my attention to the root cause detection section on the right-hand side, it shows a list of QC failures by analyst tenure categories, along with the number of KYC requests, average processing time in days, and financial impact. We can confirm that the lower tenure analysts have the highest negative impact on quality check failures and processing time. Additionally, if we want to perform further analysis, we simply click General Drill Down and then specify the dimension we'd like to filter by, whether industry, product offering, customer tier, or region. Ultimately, whatever additional metadata is supplied to Celonis can be used to create richer analyses. Now that we identified that we have a problem with processing time, and we hypothesize that it's because we have a high quality check failure rate, we can take action. We dove into the process initially and confirmed that a QC failure significantly impacts cycle time. And now we understand that the most common reason a quality check fails is that we're not capturing all of the necessary documentation from customers the first time. We also know now that this is happening more often among analysts that have been with the bank for less than 6 months. With these insights, we're now empowered to improve the process by building an automated workflow, a Celonis action flow, so we can mitigate this risk in the future. Celonis action flows act as listening devices that can detect a certain scenario within the process as it's happening, and then take action. In this action flow, Celonis is detecting when an analyst violates the threshold of more than a 6% quality check failure rate in a given week. If this violation occurs, then Celonis automatically inspects the analyst's tenure with the bank. If the analyst has been with the bank for less than 12 months, the top branch, then Celonis action flows will directly notify the analyst manager with the relevant cases and analyst's name so the manager can coach the analyst to avoid further issues. However, if the analyst has been with the bank more than 12 months, the bottom branch, then this might indicate a need for additional training. The action flow can automatically enroll the analyst in refresher training and, concurrently, send an email to notify the manager of this incident so the manager can then follow up with personal coaching. With a simple graphical interface, we configured a business logic threshold to identify when analysts exceed a quality check fail rate and then automatically take corrective action for future prevention. Over time, this intelligent orchestration powered by action flows will result in higher analyst accuracy, fewer quality check failures, and a faster, more streamlined KYC process. In this demonstration, you've seen how Celonis is uniquely positioned to help commercial and investment banks streamline their KYC processes. Specifically, you saw for executives and leaders a dashboard that tracks critical KPI metrics. Then, for process analysts and process engineers, you saw a robust processing time analysis screen that offers intuitive process exploration and discovery of inefficiencies, as well as KPIs critical to measuring processing time, the tracking of critical KPIs, and then automatically surfaced top inefficiencies as well as their impact. Lastly, you saw intuitive dimensional analysis and how easy it was to drill down on a specific inefficiency, in this case quality check fail, and identify an area for improvement, in this case supporting junior analysts who are a major source of quality check failures. Finally, for process analysts, an action flow is built with a drag-and-drop interface to easily detect instances of QC failures and provide alerting to managers while automatically enrolling junior analysts in supplemental training to mitigate the inefficiency in the future and drive down processing time, quality check failures, and cost. Taken collectively, these capabilities can help financial institutions reduce risk, improve customer experience by reducing KYC processing time, and ultimately position organizations as best in class as they seek a durable competitive advantage versus their peers.